Magic and technology.
Okay, 6 o'clock, I'll call the public hearing, city council to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
You know, you have the roll.
Yes, sir.
Done. Now on to the description of the increment spending plan.
So for this public hearing, I'll turn it over to Todd Hagan, who is attending via Zoom from Ellers. Todd, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, how am I coming in?
Great.
Great.
Good evening, Todd, if you just want.
Okay. Yep, I give you guys a background on this again. So the council had a few meetings ago decided to look at this opportunity to at least kind of open the door a little bit to allow temporary spending of unobligated surplus tax increment outside of a couple tax increment districts, particularly TIF District 1-4 and 1-6, state of Minnesota. The state legislature is kind of allowing this temporary spending through 2025 to sort of free up some of that, again, unobligated surplus increment that's, not designated for anything anymore, to assist really in any form to private development, for the construction or rehab of buildings, other facilities, sort of of a private nature, as long as it creates jobs in the state. And that would include construction jobs. So it's pretty flexible. We're allowed to spend the increment anywhere in the city if we have a spending plan. And that requires a public hearing that's being held tonight, just to broaden our opportunities to, again, assist private development in Blackduck. These are housing districts, so we're always have the ability to assist housing, like it would be qualified housing within the city, generated by these districts, again, that don't have any obligations. So we're always able to do that just under existing law, affordable type rental housing or owner occupied housing, but this gives us a little bit more flexibility, or a lot more flexibility for a temporary period to kind of assist with any type of private development that would create jobs. So that could be, environmental remediation, land acquisition, demolition, soil correction, site preparation of a new building or substantial rehab. So again, we've prepared a spending plan. It's pretty broad, and it's got a lot of the things that the council sort of already has in its. You guys have some other plans out there that sort of talks about, helping out possibly some infill kind of neighborhoods, you know, that sort of the values are reducing or to help sort of maintain and maybe eliminate blight, you know, if there's, you know, any of that, or substantial repairs or renovations, or to demo properties to kind of get things set up for new development. So we adopted some of that same language in the spending plan to kind of keep things flexible and on the same track you've been on already. So currently, so we're only able in the spending plan to go back to what's available since 2021, and then we can add 2022 increment to that as well. So we're a little north of $144,000 of available increment. I mean, these at least one of these districts will keep generating for a while, even after this, for a number of years. I think 1-6, which is MMCDC housing, expires in 2031. So, I mean, that at the end of the day will have almost $161,000 in it. And then TIF 1-4 expires in 2023. So there's a little bit yet to generate, you know, for a total of $63,500 on that. So if we don't spend any of this in the plan itself, I mean, it kind of just goes back to the normal course of authorization that, you know, for the housing part. So, so again, we're here to, you know, listen to any sort of comments or questions anybody has, but this is just to keep our options open and kind of a win-win situation on this, just to be able to look back and say, yeah, we did the best we could with the tools we're given by the state to offer this kind of assistance up to the city, you know. So any questions from anybody? I guess I'll yield back to the council on this.
Just to clarify that the funds can be used anywhere in the city. It is not something that it has to be used in the taxing district it was taken from.
Right, correct.
Okay.
And that's a temporary provision by the legislature, you said, that it could be used anywhere in the city?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be used for housing like what the districts are originally set up for. This even broadens the use of that as well. But we're really limited in the spending plan to assist private development and not public improvements on this. But if you wanted to switch it over for some public improvements, you know, like to take care of, you know, half a road or something that's alongside some qualified housing, then we would just go back to the original authorized use of tax increment for these housing districts. So pretty flexible, but again, it's you know, it's really, you know, Christina and myself through you folks, if you have questions, you know, throughout the years here, right, just to make sure we're spending this correctly.
Anyone else, council? Then at this time, I would take questions from the public. So if it has anything. Any questions from the public? I have to do this 3 times, so.
What was that, Max?
If there's nothing further, any questions? We have no questions from the public. Thank you, Todd.
Yep, thank you.
With that, I will make a motion to adjourn the public hearing and open the regular council meeting.
I will second the motion to close this meeting and open the council meeting.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. I just gotta wait for me to get to the other agenda. And we will move, right through the call to order, roll call pledge. To approve tonight's agenda. If someone wants to make a motion to approve. All motion to approve tonight's agenda. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on tonight's agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. Now, the consent agenda, all items will be passed with one council motion unless there are items that one would like to take out.
I have a couple questions on three of the items.
Yes, sir. What do you agree with those be?
U, Z, and AC.
Wait, U, C,
Z.
Z,
Z and zebra and AC.
and AC.
Just a couple quick questions to clarify.
We have a motion. I will move to approve the consent agenda minus U, Z, and AC.
I have a couple for
Oh.
H and I.
And I will amend
H and I,
H and I.
so the bill report and the sewer income statement?
Yep.
Okay. So I have H, I, U, Z, and AC.
Correct.
Okay. Any others?
I will amend my motion to include H and I.
Okay.
Do I have a second to approve?
Second.
Thank you.
West toward Main Street, then turn right onto County.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. First, Counselor Frederickson.
Can you just go in
You wanna
order,
go-
please? Yes. So I have to find them as I go, in case the direction,
Then we will
questions
stick-
are
we
directed
will go
to me.
with you, Don.
Okay, I just have a question about the, on H, on the bill badge, about the cost of the new signs that you got. I couldn't find anything stating what they cost. It says $1,800 a piece.
So, yeah, it was 36, the ones from Ross Lewis for the park and the golf course.
Yeah,
So they were split evenly between the two funds. $1,800, $3,600 was the invoice.
I was just reading through this and I seen that the park and golf course both got billed for it, and I thought, I didn't hear any, I don't remember hearing anything what they were cost.
Okay, I don't recall if you were at that work session when I brought the proposal to the council or not, but we did get a agreement that we should move forward at that time, and that was the end bill.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
And item I.
I have a question about. Is there, when the septic companies around here dump at the ponds. Where, I don't see any income on the sewer income statement about that.
That comes in under charges for service. Which on the top of the sewer income statement is your very last revenue. And right now, year to date, it's at $4,175.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
All right,
Anything further? On those. Two items.
No.
Okay. Don?
I just have a question on. You was that irrigation damage thing, and I know we filed a claim for $30,000, and I know you made a notation on there that we paid that to Northern Irrigation, and that was the company that repaired the, is that right?
Yes, Ron, that is correct.
And is there any additional funds that aren't covered by that claim, or was that the total bill?
Just our deductible of $250.
Okay, so the whole thing is 30,600, whatever, plus.
Correct.
Okay, and we're expecting no further bills on that.
God willing, those irrigators work and we don't have any more problems. Yes, sir, absolutely.
And then C, we had an invoice from Kraus Anderson on the pond, and again, I'm just coming into this new in June, so
Certainly.
it looked like they first signed it in August, and then they didn't, the architect didn't do it until October, but. I mean, the project is done. Are we expecting any further bills? Has that been paid in full? Or
This is the last payment, yes.
This is the final, okay.
It was held over for a good portion of this year to in part to a heater in the entryway that was not installed and a couple other electrical items that were on back order during the project.
Wanted to make sure we weren't gonna have any additional surprises.
Great question.
Then on AC, it's a similar thing, that we have an invoice from JD Construction.
Okay. So this is on the Main Street project, Ron,
Yeah, we have an invoice for about 20,
23,190.
we also have the estimate for 60,000. Are
So-
we expecting more invoices?
No, I provided the estimate for full council comparison. That was the estimate that was provided by JD in the spring.
Mhm.
Based on the original plans of the engineer.
Yeah.
And the end result was a third as much,
Really?
So we came in quite a bit.
way under budget.
Well, that's, subject of the celebration.
I amen to that.
I've never come in under budget by 2/3 of the general contractor in my life.
And if you've had an opportunity to look at, the quality and what the work looks like out there, you haven't heard anything but good comments about how that side of the building looks.
Yeah, so that was my question, just to, we're not expecting any invoices on that, so. Okay, that's the extent of my inquiry.
Anything further on these? And Ron, would you like to make a motion to pass items U, Z, A, C, H, and I?
Yes, I would make a motion to pass. Questions have been answered on U, Z, A, C, H, and I.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Well, you guys are fast. Yeah, right? You guys can talk. Okay, I'm caught up.
No problem. Blackduck Forum. Do you have anyone here for the Blackduck Forum? this evening? Not doing that 3 times. And then we will move to the item 5, our ordinance revision.
Does the council want me to read it to the
Into-
public again?
Into record again, it's not necessary for me, because
It was read in full at the last meeting.
read in full, so I would say we are, well, ready to go.
Then it stands. There's been no changes since the last meeting at all, and no further questions from any public
Correct.
in my office.
And we can move to,
Said red.
it is red,
Done.
consider it red. Item 6. Mike. Public Works.
I'll actually let Christina lead
Yeah,
on that.
we've asked Brent Damon, who's the architect from Woodseth that's taken over for Steve Rose on the maintenance, combined maintenance and public works or public safety facility. To bring the council up to speed on these 2 newest change order proposals that have come up in the last week. And discuss the funding for it. I don't know, can I just refer to you and I'll jump in? Okay.
Run down with yeah, so we've got 2 cost proposals that we're presenting for the maintenance and safety facility. The first one being with regard to door hardware. So requested changes from what was in the original bid documents. 3 of the doors, we're looking at changing to a keypad with a locking system to help how we provide greater ease for the city as far as
On the police side,
as far as controlling access and having the ability to change those codes with greater ease than having to deal with keys and everything out there. 2 other doors, changing the type of locking function on 2 doors that separate the public works side and the police side. Currently, it's just set up where you have key access from one side. We're changing so that if you go either direction, you would need a key. So basically, police side can't go to the public side go to work side without a key, and vice versa. And then there's a couple other doors that are taking advantage of some of the hardware that we have left over. That change was $5,794. Most of that is associated with those keypad style locks. There's a little bit of rework that has to go with those doors as well. The second item is with the fire alarm system. So the project was originally designed with a fire suppression system. As part of the value engineering process, we looked at pulling that out. One thing that was missed that should have been part of that DD process that we expect that the electrician had approved but hadn't was provided a fire alarm system, which is then required. So when that pulled out, we should have had the fire alarm system in there as well. So this was something that we were just made aware of. The pricing that came back on that was $29,540. So combined between those two items, that's $35,334. What we are proposing is to use the remaining contingency, which is $20,063.75. And then WITSEC would cover that difference. Make up that difference. So that is what we were presenting for your consideration.
I wrote them both down because I wanted to talk about both of them.
I figured you would. Okay, that's why I asked Brent here, because Mike and I are past it. At some point, I knew that this would be needed.
So why is WINSEP picking up the bill? Because they missed it?
No, just to help move the project forward, to be honest. It should have been included with me, it adds value, but we recognize that cities have to limit as far as with the contingency, so we're covering that difference.
Yeah, I remember pulling that out.
Well, I could see it happening real quickly.
The challenge,
You know, when you're trying to cut costs, it becomes a lump sum kind of thing, and you go, well, I can see where it got missed and how it got missed. I don't have to like it, but I can see how it happened. I don't, and I think with Seth being able to, or offering to, proposing to pick up that part of it.
yeah, from our perspective, normally we haven't had the fire suppression in there at all. The fire alarm system had been designed. Going through the process, like I said, just a line item.
Yeah.
Yep.
We should go down deep enough to catch that.
Yeah.
So could you just hit the high points again, the numbers, the total number of both of these change orders and what WINSEP is covering?
So the door hardware ad was $5,794.
Mhm.
The fire alarm system was $29,540.
Mhm.
So combined, that's $35,334. The remaining contingency is $20,063.75.
Mhm.
And then we would cover $15,270.25.
That's 15,000.
And so what I would propose is we'll work directly with the general contractor for that. We'll just have them invoice us directly with the city's tax, and then we'll adjust that. On the change order or anything like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll just have to.
But this is the end of our contingency funds, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, we'll just have to realize that we have to contingency, so anything else. in this one, I'll just not even go out of pocket.
That is correct.
Well, we should be getting to the somewhat towards the end of this.
Project,
Well,
God willing.
change orders.
Yeah, we had a construction meeting last week, and talking with Clay at TNT and our site visit. I mean, it does look like they are on track with substantial completion by the end of the year, which is good for essentially use the building. for its activities.
So essentially, Max, what?
I had a quick question before I.
Go ahead.
forget it. On the door locks, in between Public Works and the police department, is there? Are those different keys on both sides then?
You can key in, yeah, you can change it. How it's keyed, so only certain people can access it this way, certain can access it that way, so. That'll get into the next layer, just key discussions on
I mean, on a security standpoint,
it. Yes,
or
yeah, there won't be the same key going each way.
that's my question.
And is it physical keys you're talking about? Not keypad.
No, the only keypads will be for those external doors run, and that's predominantly because we have county deputies using the building as well. And it's more cost effective to have a code provided to those law enforcement officers than cards like the county uses right now, which have to have a programmer and overhead, so this is much easier to reprogram. Need to.
Do we need a motion to approve these changes then?
Yes,
Brian?
sir, you do. You could do them as two, I probably want to do them as two change order motions. It's gonna be change order 6 and 7. 6 would be the locks and 7 would be the fire system.
You have any other discussion on it? No. I will make the motion to approve change orders 6 and 7.
I'll second that.
Okay. Now, we have any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Oh,
Mike,
I have nothing else for you guys.
snowplows are all working?
Not on yet.
Okay.
I'm on Wednesday. No, we're busy trying to put out 1,000 other fires around town right now, so.
Okay.
Snowplows unfortunately are gonna be at the absolute last minute before the storm hits.
What about the light on, the light pole on Main Street here? The one that,
Oh, by Bogarts?
yeah,
Well, it should be laying down in the ditch right now.
Okay.
We're gonna pull the base out tomorrow and try to pour a new base, hope that it sets up in time to put it back up. Wind just blew it down last night. Well, didn't blow it down, it blew it over.
so it is our pole.
Yes, technically,
mhm.
Okay,
kind of the same as when the one got hit over by Bogarts there. That's kind of how we found out that the state put them up and then passed them off to us.
gotcha.
So
I was just curious to see if that was a state highway light or if that's a,
a person would think so, but
it's,
No.
but it's not.
it's ours.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Anything else for Mike? We'll move to Shonda, 6.2.
Okay,
Is it like 2.0?
well, that's it. Mostly like an alcohol thing, is I was thinking, okay, yeah, proof. I don't have a lot for you guys. We had a really good October, despite the way the P and L looks, but, we did do, $50,000 gross dollars over last year, but last year our kitchen wasn't open yet. So that kind of, but, so yes, very good October. Opening hunting, very busy. Did probably about $6,000 over what we did in our best year. So I didn't take 2020 and then 2021, kitchen wasn't open, so.
Yeah.
2019 was our best year, for hunting. We did have the auto fry in, so we were cooking some food then too, but, yeah. So just working real hard to try to make up money.
I know you guys are strung pretty thin.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But
But I have received compliments on staff returning to help, like Mike would say, put out fires. When you guys get really, really busy, people come back in to help out, so
right, mostly the peoples are me and Melissa, but.
we won't, I won't try to toot everybody's horn all at once. I just wanted you to know that
No, I'm-
it has been noted and noticed by the people that are using in there.
Right,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's, and we are trying to run. We are running as lean as we possibly can because of payroll, and if you do look at the P and L, there's $30,000 overspent on
Part-time.
part-time.
Yeah.
And that was just one of
Understated.
those, when you start like a new business, when are the people gonna come? We want to disappoint them by not being staffed, so, yeah. And every business, every bar, restaurant, you can name one, and I will tell you, they are not open as many hours as they would love to be. So I don't even know one that's open 7 days a week. I mean, within a 50-mile radius, I don't know of one. So us being able to staff 7 days a week is pretty. That's pretty,
It's
phenomenal.
remarkable, yeah.
So, yeah, but no, overall, the numbers look pretty good.
hopefully we can. Last month, this month, December will get us, a lot more money in our fund.
It's already starting to show. So hopefully we will end strong.
Right.
Fourth quarter.
Come have beers and burgers. Help us out
And bring a friend.
and bring a friend. You can have pops and burgers too, that's fine.
Thank you.
Have you noticed any increase in Wednesday business since you instituted the senior discount?
Not a whole bunch. We have. Certain customers have come in and thanked us that they don't have to drive to Turtle River. And as the roads get crappier, we're gonna notice them more because they're not gonna be taking those trips anyway, Bemidji or whatever. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna get it. We're gonna get it here because obviously the grocery store still does that. We do that. And, yeah. So I haven't seen anything really significant yet. But it hasn't been happening very long either, so it takes a while to catch on.
Anything else for Shonda? Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Christina,
Mhm.
before you give your report, is there anything from our police or fire?
Not at this time, no. The only thing that I can mention for the fire department, if you noted in your consent agenda, is that their open house in September gained 3 new volunteers. And that's a big push for them, so it was a good success. They should all be, I think Brian's in the process of getting them equipped with boots and some of their equipment right now, so they should be starting their training mid to late November. So that's
Okay.
good.
I mean, maybe I got spoiled when our former police chief was here. With some sort of update or something, but I just, I know he's a busy guy, I know he's not our full-time chief. I would think that we as a council would like to see some sort of report from them to see what's going on.
I can see what Rob's got on his agendas for the nights. If he can show up once a month, maybe I'll see. I mean, he's still the assistant professor in the law and
Precisely my point.
in the criminology at BSU, and that's difficult for him to be here, but he will.
I mean, even if it was a written report, something that's typed out, whatever they
Okay.
feel is pertinent information for the city of Blackduck to know,
I'll make note of it.
I would appreciate it.
Okay.
It gives us something to be able to tell the people that ask. And I've been asked plenty, That's all I had.
Okay.
So on to you, Christina.
Okay.
You don't have a decimal point. You're just 7.
Oh, I'll start on letter A. Mr. Patch is here to discuss the MnDOT Rail Bank consideration that we brought to the work session back in, I think it was late September, something like that, and we just haven't been able to get our schedules to match up, so Phil has this resolution and the exhibits that I presented to you guys the last work session. And he's here to discuss that and ask any questions that the council has. Go for it.
Yeah, I guess, I heard the land might be available and just would like to, I guess, secure it because of what's up to mine and kind of on the south side, so that neighbors is.
What you saying?
I got all the ones I want.
Oh.
It's not, the land itself is, I think anybody that's been around town, it's not really developed.
No,
Without owning mine, and I'd just like to secure it so that if I can say it's mine, I don't have to worry about nobody doing anything. It's not very much land at all. Actually, the more you look at it, the less it is, because of the ditch that runs through it. Pretty much divides the biggest part of it, but it's, I guess I just feel not on my bucket list or anything, but it would work to my advantage to own it.
so what Phil essentially is asking for the same type of support the council has provided to the Blackduck Co-op to be the fiduciary, if you will, to be able to work between the state and the private owner to
Since the state,
acquire that. Yep, since the state by statute can only sell it to a local government. And then we would work as that circle. So I'm sure there will have to be, mapping with the state that Phil will have to work on with just the way the co-op is working right now before that
Public
approval
hearings?
goes. Yep. No, there shouldn't be public hearings for
Okay.
that. Mhm. This should give him enough support to be able to start moving forward.
then. Okay. Got any questions for Bill?
So
Excuse me, Mr. Patch.
this isn't gonna cost the city any money.
No.
Or you're gonna cover any attorney fees and all that. If there is.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that was the agreement with the co-op too. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you said the state is gonna, can only sell it to the city, does that mean we have to fork over something?
No, no, what basically happens is we act as the bank.
Okay.
Okay, so the state takes Bill, or excuse me, the city takes Bill's money and gives it to the state.
But
So
they'll
the-
charge something for the.
They'll
land?
charge something for the land. They'll determine what they can sell it to Phil for.
Okay,
And then we'll act as the fiduciary, having that money, sending it to the state, getting that all cleaned up, and then it'll go back in his name. So really, all we're doing is working as a holder.
yeah, but it's not a conveying gifting thing. There'll be some
Not at
charge.
all,
There'll
no,
be
no,
Some charge.
that is correct. But only between the state and Phil.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, my administration time, of course, is, that's my service to the
Mhm.
community, so.
No big plans for it, though.
not, no. The only thing I might maybe wanna do is pick a driveway kind of in line with the corridor. And close off my other driveway type deal, but
Okay.
I'll work with Mike and Mike.
Yeah.
Not hard to get along with, and so it might involve a culvert or something, but it's very minimal.
Okay,
Yeah, and since the snowmobile and the ATV trail
Yeah,
runs, is still on the corridor and not on the adjacent property that Phil is interested in, there shouldn't be any issue with that.
Yeah.
Because they have their own easement for use of
Yeah.
the corridor for that, which doesn't include, I think, any siding property at all.
No,
I don't think so at
I
all.
don't know, do they have something just before the truffle?
No, I don't think so.
goes around behind there? Yeah, I guess I'd stay out of that.
Yeah, that might come up when we start talking with the state, but I don't think it's gonna impede on any of that. That's on the other side.
just, yeah, just for curiosity, or would you be combining them all into one parcel eventually, or is it something you just want to keep as a chunk off to the side?
You know, it really doesn't matter to me, and it seems like when you try to combine things down at the county, it seems that it gets screwed up and then it's just.
Okay, that was just my own
It works.
curiosity, I wasn't.
It does, I just been having them all as one and pay one bill, but that's not how they like it down there.
What you'd have to do is have a new parcel description drawn up,
Yeah,
and that'll have to be, and that would be filed with Charlene Stark down in the county. And
Yeah,
but you'd need a surveyor to help draw that up legally so that they can combine it.
so,
did that with phone line and it did not work out. And somehow somebody back 25 years ago did not file something right.
Whoops.
So then it got really congested, but
Wasn't out of this office, was it?
no, it was
Something down there.
it was like there was one off, but then there was a picture, and if the number's not quite right, and the
Yeah.
picture is there and it's outlined in red.
Yeah, that certificate of survey is so important to have, right? Yeah.
I remember who it was, the old gal that was in town forever up until 15 years ago. Bernie's corner,
yes.
and but then this was drawn up in between Chan's dad,
Oh, okay,
you know, and I
Yeah.
mean, it was
It may not have been,
in like 1940.
yeah. It may not have been correct corners or something like that,
Well,
but
And how much has the town map changed since then?
quite a bit.
so, without anything further than, question wise, I think we have a resolution here in front of us. Someone want to make that motion?
I'll motion to approve resolution 2022-22. Resolution acknowledging support for Bill Patch to convey state rail bank property from Statement is correct.
I heard you.
We have a motion and a second.
Came out.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck, though.
All right,
Hope you get it.
thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Need a statement or?
Oh, yeah. Keep going.
All right. Item B,
That would be Rob.
that's why
Sir?
Rob's here. I keep looking at you, Rob. And just maybe maybe you'd have a question for something else.
Very patient.
Rob, do you need this? Or at least this portion of it?
All right, see you later.
My name's Rob Ingersoll. I work with the History Center, Blackduck History and Art Center here in town. We've been open for 16 years in the old Arts Building. Currently rent from the gal that has the secondhand store. We have come before the council for several years and asked for financial support, and that has been tied to our liability and property insurance, $829 a year this year, and had hoped that the city of Blackduck would see their way through to continue that support. You've been generous in the past. We appreciate any help we can get in that area. We also get a grant from Beltrami County from the Development Fund that helps us do our quarterly newsletter. We get support from a number of the townships around the area. And most of our financial support comes from individuals that, quite a few of them from out of town, local as well, but we get a lot of support from Blackduck people that have moved away and that we send our newsletter to, and that's really been a success for us. That the newsletter has really been the showcase of what we do. That and the displays in the History Center itself. We have in the last year or recently, we had a display that high school sweethearts back in the spring and early summer that was pretty cool. A lot of pictures we got from local people and put up people that dated in high school and ended up getting married, all of them local. We just did one recently. In fact, it's still up on the fair that some of you probably aren't old enough to remember the fair when it was in Blackduck, but that was quite the highlight of the summer. And we put together a show on that with quite a few pictures again and some display items, and that was pretty well received as well. Those are the kind of things we like to do, attract people when former residents of Blackduck when they come to town, and hopefully get people from Blackduck to come in and see us as well. The liquor store mentioned staffing issues. That's a paying business. All the people that work for the History Center are volunteers, but we have some of the same issues, certainly financial, but staffing is probably more of an issue. There are the people that started the History Center back in 2006. Really some remarkable people, and a number of them still work with us. But we've had trouble attracting a younger crowd, if you will. I know the first meeting I went to when I joined the board 4 or 5 years ago, it was kind of a shock to be the youngest person in the room. because I'm not particularly, but we've had some success in getting some younger people involved. And I think it's kind of been a focus for me to a lot of the old timers, if you will, that started and are still involved with the History Center, see the history of the town being when it started. 1902, maybe it would be a good year to pick for when Blackduck started, through the teens and 20s and 30s, and we have a lot of things from that era, and the focus for a long time has been in that area. I've tried to push a little bit that, you know, to attract maybe a younger crowd, if you will. History is also for the 60s and 70s and 80s, and I think we'll probably try to move in that direction a little bit more to interest people that are a little bit younger. Anyway, that's some of the things that we're doing or have done recently. Because we'd love to have more people come in than do, but we're right in downtown. The History and Arts Center has been really a bellwether kind of thing for Blackduck, I think. And we're asking for support again this year from the city of Blackduck, to the tune of $829. That's, our insurance has been relatively stable over the years, in that 800 plus range since I started, which is nice to see that we haven't had that part, at least hasn't gone up a whole lot. And anyway, hope you guys will consider supporting us again this year. And if there's any questions about the History Center, I'd be happy to address those.
I have one question, and I don't know if I've asked it in the past, but does your insurance cover contents?
Yes.
Because I know a lot of stuff down there is invaluable, so
Yes.
Yeah, you're not gonna
there's things there that can't be
pay for
replaced.
the place.
Always a big picture guy for me.
Mhm.
Some of the, and one of the things I enjoy the most. How would you value something like that when it can't be replaced?
Right.
That is valuable. I know Christina mentioned the picture she has in her office on the wall came from your reproductions, copies of whatever you have there.
Mhm.
I think it's very important to preserve those safely. So they can be used by future generations, and technology yet to be invented, they can be copied.
Appreciate it, yeah.
One of the suggestions I've had recently, as it pertains to the Blackduck Americans that are in our vault, and probably could, you know, work towards the History Center too, is that the Minnesota Historical Society has grants. And a lot of them are preservation grants too, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for the History Center to maybe look in on a state level to see if there's any other funding that might support that. I know the Beltrami
Where you can actually scan some of those things.
can digitize them.
Yeah,
Yep, I most recently found out off topic that the Americans from 1901 to 1970 are digitized at the Preservation Society of the State, so I know that that's protected, which gives me a little bit more pause when they're in there, but I'm just always worried that if something goes wrong, God forbid the fire department's kitty corner from you, but never
yeah, and
never know.
another good reason to get younger, more technologically savvy people involved in what we do would be that. But thanks for the suggestion, yeah.
Well, with that, Ron, would you like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the payment of the annual insurance premium for the History Center once again.
Do we want the amount on that, Christina?
In the amount of $829. Correct.
Yes.
Then my motion to approve that amount of $829.08.
I second.
We have any further discussion on it? To clarify, it would be coming from the liquor rent fund.
That is correct.
Correct.
And if I may just add another note, which has absolutely no bearing on the History Center's endorsements, that the budget that is set at the beginning of the year for that liquor rent fund has been expended now double what was originally budgeted this year due to additional donations made to other entities in town. So it would be advisable, provided the year we've had at the liquor store, to maybe consider staying within that budget in the coming year as close to as possible.
We could review with council what was donated and to whom, and then maybe budget those requests in a way that we
Yeah.
can.
So that we're staying on top of that, regardless of what the fund balance is. If we can stay closer to it, that would be great.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, Shonda and I, when we've done her budget in the past, we've looked at those routine repeated ones that always come around and ask, but we have had some new ones in the last 2 years that, we don't know if we're gonna get or not. The Trap Club and Toys for Kids, the last 2 years have been a big addition to those. And we historically have never had that much donated out, so I'm just trying to be wise.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Rob.
On behalf of the History Center, thanks to the city of Blackduck. Appreciate it.
Rob. I have it back.
Oh, that's you.
Thank you. The next item of business is resolution 2201, revision 4, and that would be moving that annual appointment of Chrissy onto the planning commission based on the work session from October 24th. I believe that is the only change noted.
Yes, so far.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have fun in January. Shake the whole thing up. Okay, do we have a motion to approve resolution 2022-4?
No. 2201, revision 4.
I'm clicking on one.
Sorry, we're on speed.
Motion to approve 2022-01 revision 04. Annual appointments and designations for 2022.
Thank you. We have a second. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? None passes.
Stop in and see me. I've got some paperwork for it. Item D is resolution 2224.
Yep.
And that is adopting that spending plan from the public hearing that preceded the council meeting tonight.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve of resolution 2022-24. Adopting a spending plan for tax increment financing districts, number 1 through 4, number 1 through 6.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Talked about it, we've had a public hearing on it. Everybody understands what's going on with that. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item E is resolution 2229, establishing a meeting schedule for 2023. Please note, there are no Tuesdays.
Yay.
Yay.
Let's see. Any of those dates not work for somebody?
Six.
You know, you don't like those? Okay. I will make the motion. Pass resolution number 2022-29. Establishing our meeting schedule for 2023.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries.
F is the approval of ordinance 2022-01, the ordinance amending chapter 15, land and use subdivision. Final reading is this evening.
We need a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve ordinance 2022-01.
I will second that.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, carries.
Item G is council consideration for approving the purchase agreement between the city of Blackduck and Deerwood Bank for the real property located across the street that would potentially house the new and improved library.
Why are we moving forward with this?
You have to make an action on it to officially move forward and vote if you're
Or-
going to or not in order for us
It's
to,
it's either gotta be
because you can't make an action at a work session.
voted in or out.
Right, so this is the opportunity, unless the council wants it to be tabled for another date to take action on it. You're either going to consider this purchase agreement and move forward with it as it is, or make a motion. It get voted down, so it can go forward a different way or completely scrapped. But some action has to be taken on. That's why.
They get the,
Yes, I made sure they got it.
Did you get any response then?
No, ma'am.
Well, I do not want to make a motion to approve this.
Lori had a question.
Oh, sorry.
You just were talking about, you said, did somebody get what, something, and I lost where you were at
Mhm.
there.
Because you weren't here.
Yes.
Yeah, the council requested that the inspection report be provided to Deerwood Bank. It was provided to Deerwood Bank.
Okay.
Well, I, like you, will not be making a
I
motion
won't be, yeah.
to proceed. That's, we have a number of decades of neglect, I think, for minimal maintenance on an aging facility. It's a fact that it is generating currently about $5,000 in tax revenue. So, with Don's, ballpark estimate of 400,000. Seems to be a big stumbling block.
so if we table it, we can continue it at a later date. But if we squash it,
It would
we have to start all over again.
It would have to be picked up at the next meeting. if we table.
So the way I see the process is, as right now, the purchase agreement stands at the letter of intents dollar amount. That action should be considered whether it gets voted down or gets voted for. If it gets voted down, then the council can either counter with another amount or make a motion to stop the process altogether. But there must be some further action than just wiping your hands and not wanting to move forward. So I need some action, whether it's for or against what's in front of you right now. And you can make a motion and second it, and then take a roll call vote. And then you know if it's for or against. But that would be the proper action at this point. Instead of just stalemating it.
And maybe at this point I should make comment. The library is expecting you to decline on this purchase agreement. That does not mean that the library is going to stop looking and trying to find other solutions for a library. Or a new location, or look at some major renovations in our own building. So if that helps you in, be reassured that we are not stopping, looking and trying to find something that will work. We understand that $250,000 into a building that's probably got more than that in repairs is out of the city's realm of a budget now or in the future, so. So I understand it the same way that you have to put it on the agenda and vote against it. We all are accepting. That helps.
Thank you. Well, then I will make the motion.
And Max, if you don't mind, your wording does not need to be the way I have it on the agenda. If I may make a suggestion.
I will make a motion that we do not approve.
Okay.
This.
So I'm clear. The motion is to not
The
approve.
motion is
purchase
to
agreement.
not approve this purchase agreement.
Okay.
That is my motion.
Okay. Seconded by Don.
Seconded by Don. Is there any discussion on this? I think it, Miriam, that you did a lot of homework on this, and it's been a project. I don't like to see it go away. I don't want to see it go away. And I think there's other buildings in town. I think you guys probably already have your sights set on something new, I would imagine.
We haven't had anything else yet.
I think we will be seeing more of this in the future, and I welcome it.
Thank you. We appreciate the time and effort that you've all put into it. This won't be the last time you see me. I'm sure.
And like I said, thank you.
Thank you.
Something to add?
I have a question of clarification. So if we vote this down, does that affect any part of the fact we have the current library building on the market?
It is not listed as of yet.
Oh, it is not listed.
No, no, I have, I pushed that off due in part to the property line work that Matt Murray is doing for those two structures right now, and I don't have that finalized. So I've not moved forward with real estate agent listing on it.
Okay.
I know that that will continue regardless, because once the maintenance facility is completed, we'll look forward to selling the old lumberyard, which is south of the library, so we need that to be two separate
Correct.
property lines anyway, so no. Answer to your question is yes and no.
Okay.
We need to do that now, because even if we go forward, we don't want half our building.
Yeah, so that's not gonna stop, it's just not.
Just want to make sure we're
moved
not gonna sell the original building.
No, when we have no place to go, yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
What is the over here, that way? building the
Yes.
house?
So, and to be clear, I'm voting on this.
you're voting to not approve it.
You are voting to not approve it. And I will request a roll call vote on this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alright. Lori,
Yes. Do you want to approve?
Don,
I'm not approved.
Ron,
Aye. Not to approve.
Nick, and next,
Aye.
so. It's unanimous that you won't move forward.
Thank you.
All right. I have some dates and I just want to talk about the election really quick and then I'm completed. The next meeting of the Development Corps is this Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Veterans Day is this Friday, the 11th, 11. I know the school is doing their celebration, their
Yes.
observation, so
And there's a dinner beforehand, so
that's right, thank you.
so that we don't have all that food left.
Yep, but city offices are closed that day, so Friday, city hall will be closed. November 16th is the next meeting of the planning commission at 2 p.m. here at City Hall. The 17th is the next scheduled combined maintenance and public safety construction meeting at 10:30 in the morning. The 21st would be your scheduled work session here at 6 o'clock. And that is the Monday of the week of Thanksgiving, just so you guys are thinking about your holiday. And then, of course, the 24th and the 25th are observed for Thanksgiving and this office is closed. December 5th is the next city council meeting, and that's also the truth and taxation public hearing with your regular council meeting, of which at that point you'd consider adopting the final levy for 23.
Does that include the ambulance is separate? From
There's
us
a
this year?
separate, I believe it's the 16th. Theirs will be publicized as well in the paper. Any questions about those dates? Anyone? If I may, then I'll move down to the general election, which everybody knows is tomorrow. The Blackduck precinct polls are open at 7 a.m. and close at 8. If you're a registered voter in the city of Blackduck, you can vote at that time. And November 14th, the following Monday, the city council will meet to canvass the general election and approve the certification of those elected. So that's 3 Mondays I need you guys this month. And that's all I have. Anybody have any questions for me?
We'll be doing the swearing in again in January then?
That is correct. I'll provide the candidates that were on the ballots, their certification of election on the 14th. But your swearing in will not happen until the first meeting in January, due in part to your existing term not expiring until the end of this year.
Correct.
Well, I'd like to say I've enjoyed serving with everyone, and in case I'm defeated in a vigorous write-in campaign tomorrow. I will see you again.
It could happen. That's how I got here.
I expect it to be a good turnout. Our roster now has 376 eligible voters in the city of Blackduck, which is the highest number I remember since I started working for the city in 2014. So I think back then it was only 310. There's a lot more registered voters in town.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's great. And in the 20 election, I think we had like a 86% turnout. So
Pretty well.
I expect tomorrow to be a high voter turnout. I mean, it typically is northern part of the state.
Okay. Then we'll move to number 9, real quick.
Anybody have anything to report?
Anything you want to shout out? Congratulations to the Blackduck Drakes,
Yeah.
making it as far as they did. That was a great season,
Mhm.
football team. The play, I went to see that last night. I think that was well done, again, as usual.
Were you there Sunday afternoon?
Yes.
Really?
And it's the auxiliary that puts on the dinner, correct?
Correct.
But it is open
To the
to
public.
the public,
Okay.
so please, you do, yeah.
And
please.
what time is that at? The purple, the
The program
program-
starts at 7, I think the dinner starts at 6,
6, that sounds about right.
maybe 5.
I think
I think it said 5:30 to.
That must be 5:30 to
5:30
6:30. Trying to.
So, we expect me to be there.
well,
Right. Anybody have anything else? And I will. Ask Nick to make a motion to adjourn.
Don second, very well.
And. We put it adjourned. Yeah, minute. Good luck tomorrow, Ron. Remember, no campaign.